Elect Trump making more waves as he names more appointees to his incoming administration.
That's right. This as his cabinet picks are under greater scrutiny ahead of U.S. Senate confirmation hearings. Good Day's Robert Moses joins us this morning, and it sounds like the president's also making some alternative plans just in case, Robert.
Yeah, exactly, Dan and Rosanna. Perhaps Senate confirmation hearings for some, but not all of his nominees. The Constitution intends for the Senate to serve as a check and balance on the executive branch, but the president-elect has plans to cut out the Senate entirely.
Brendan Carr, the top Republican on the Federal Communications Commission, is President-elect Donald Trump's choice to lead the agency which writes rules for broadcasting, telecommunications, and broadband. Carr authored a section about the FCC in Project 2025, a conservative blueprint that the president-elect has disavowed. Carr has defended Elon Musk, a close ally of the president-elect. Since the Senate confirmed Carr to a 5-year term last year, he can take control as soon as the president-elect takes office. Some of the president-elect's other picks, though, could face confirmation fights. President-elect Trump is sticking by his choice for defense secretary, former Fox News host Pete Hegseth, despite the fact that a woman accused Hegseth of sexual assault in 2017. Hegseth calls their encounter consensual, and he was never charged with a crime. According to his attorney, he reached a financial settlement with his accuser. And the president-elect's attorney general nominee, Matt Gaetz, could also face opposition in the Senate. The House Ethics Committee had been investigating Gaetz for sexual misconduct, illicit drug use, and other allegations until he resigned. Given that Gaetz is no longer a member of the House, Speaker Mike Johnson believes the Ethics Committee report about him should not see the light of day.
There's a very important reason for the tradition and the rule that we have almost always followed, and that is that we don't issue investigations and ethics reports on people who are not members of Congress. I'm afraid that that would open a Pandora's box.
Not all Republicans agree, including Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma.
I believe the Senate should have access to that. Now, should it be released to the public or not? I guess that will be part of the negotiation.
The president-elect has vowed to use recess appointments to unilaterally install his most controversial nominees and bypass the Senate confirmation process entirely. Johnson did not rule out recess appointments.
There may be a function for that, and we'll have to see how it plays out.
Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware worries that would set a dangerous precedent.
We're a check and balance. We're there to be a guardrail.
And late word this morning from the president-elect when he confirmed on Truth Social that he does plan to declare a national emergency and use military assets to carry out mass deportations when he takes office. You'll remember that he promised repeatedly on the campaign trail to deport undocumented immigrants. Rosanna, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much.